Welcome to Shanghai. I'm Wang Ying.
Hello, I'm He Jian. Louie de Bayser, president of FAB Paris and Salon du Dessin, had just made his inaugural visit to China with a clear mission: to lay the groundwork for the prestigious French art fair's expansion into Shanghai. At Rodin Art Center in Shanghai, de Bayser unveiled plans for FAB Paris China debut. Tang Xiaofan sat down with him to discuss his views on China's art market.
This was Louie de Bayser's first visit to China as president of FAB Paris Art Fair, and he chose Shanghai as his first stop.
I find it more open and more green than what I had thought before. It's easy walking, easy living.
De Bayser had an important mission for his Shanghai trip: pave the way for FAB Paris' debut in China.
We have different meetings in order to present the FAB Paris Fair, to meet the economic forces, the customs people, the banks, which is important if you want to try to set up something, to know how it can be organized.
At Rodin Art Center in Shanghai, de Bayser held his first China press conference to announce the plan. After the event, we caught up for a conversation inside the venue.
Hi Louis, nice to meet you.
Hello, me too, nice to meet you.
So this art center was transformed from the former French pavilion of Shanghai Expo 2010. So what are your impressions upon entering this space?
Well, it's my first visit here, and I very much like the way the building was designed, and the fact that when you go through the collection of the Rodin Center, you're like you're following a path, and you always have everywhere the light coming from the big glasses.
With 106 genuine Rodin works on display, the Rodin Art Center serves as a cultural nexus between China and France, making it the natural choice for de Bayser to collaborate with when establishing FAB Paris Shanghai edition.
So for many Chinese audiences, the FAB Paris is still relatively new. So could you please briefly introduce its features and what are some of the highlights for this year's art fair?
The roots of the fair is the Biennale des Antiquaires, which is an old fair which was created in 1956 and then merged with the Fine Arts Paris 4 years ago and created the FAB Paris. So it's relatively new, but still with old and strong roots. The aim of the fair is to show the art which was produced from antiquity to today, and through very diverse support such as paintings, sculpture, furniture, drawings.
So why do you choose the Rodin Art Center as your partner in China this time, and when can we expect the FAB Paris to officially launch in Shanghai?
At the moment we are really beginning to work together. This is our first collaboration. And then we will see what we can do in order to maybe show works of art from FAB Paris here. When you try to set up a fair, you always need time to find the correct size, the correct place, the good dealers, because it's important.
On his first trip to Shanghai, de Bayser confessed that what struck him most were the exotic building clusters inbound.
Just before coming here, I was walking on the Bund and looking at different buildings, and I even entered a building which is now occupied by a bank, and it's fully Art Deco furnished, and you still have all the mosaic inside the hall, and you have also the furniture, which are still the Art Deco furniture. It's a real characteristic of the architecture on this Bund, that it's a mix of early 20th century architecture, Art Deco, and from different countries also.
You know, Shanghai is home to nearly 100 art galleries and museums and hosts over 1,000 art exhibitions each year, making it a city of art. And similarly, Paris is also regarded as a global capital of art and fashion. So from your perspective, what are the differences and similarities between the two cities?
What I can see is that, as you say, Paris is a central place for art in the art world, and Shanghai is a great center for the art world in China and in Asia, I would say, and so it's something they have in common. Also, as you say, the number of galleries, which is also very important in Paris as in Shanghai. I think we can both have some new experiences from this kind of partnership.
De Bayser called his 5-day visit regrettably brief, but confirmed this was just the start. Future trips would bring more world-class art to China, strengthening the bond between French and Chinese cultures.
Now we move on to a French artist. Yannis Canusi bends industrial materials into an elegant and enigmatic forms. His sculptures play with memory, perspective, and the illusion of perfection. His first solo exhibition in China, Gradient Dystopia, invites viewers to question how we can perceive the infinite and the fragments we leave behind. Zhang Hong takes you inside.
Circles and spheres often symbolize perfection, complete, and eternal. But what about ellipses, half columns, shapes stretched, missing, or incomplete?
The ellipse is very important in this exhibition because it's the shape that can make a link between our physical world and a metaphysical one, because the perfection is the circle, and in 3 dimensions the sphere, but once you make the experience through the perspective of a circle, it becomes an oval, an ellipse. So this is our view from a human body of perfection. It makes the link between the sphere, the circle, and our world.
This is French artist Yannis Canusi's first solo exhibition in China. In a room filled with these forms, he invites us into a dialogue with memory, absence, and perspective. The missing star is a tribute to his late father, a column with a sphere seemingly carved from its center. What's missing becomes the message.
It is not tangible because it's a negative, but still you can feel the sphere by itself, not in a positive way, but in a negative way.
The surface of his work is equally eye-catching. It reminds me of automotive paint that's smooth, flawless, with a fine metallic shimmer. It's no accident. The artist uses spray guns and industrial tools to remove the human trace, leaving only form and color to speak.
I am very inspired by the industrial iconography, and thus all these techniques and tools. I wanted to erase all the gesture and the materiality of working, of a human trust, of the human body, so you don't touch a surface of a work. For example, when you spray painting, there is no matter, no trust.
With gradients and ellipses, Canusi explores the idea that perfection or infinity only exists in our imagination. In reality, we always see through limits, through distortion, through being human.
As we are in a world that is finite, that there is no infinity, I wanted to work on this utopia of trying to work with an endless world, a metaphysic one. And thus, this is why you can find a gradient in each of my work. The transition through each color allows you to think that an infinity is possible, but actually it isn't, because we are in a physical world. So this is why we are in a dystopia of the infinity.
Now moving on to Shanghai A to Z section. Parents with children born after June the 1st, including expat children, are now able to access a new vaccination booking and records system on the city's Shishanban app. The system is designed to make it easier to check a child's vaccination history, as well as providing parents with a booking function that allows them to choose clinics, dates, times, and vaccine producers and brands. A quick scan of the QR code at the clinic is all that is required to complete the process. An English version will be available soon, and a variety of other languages, including Japanese, Korean, French, German, and Arabic, will also be included. According to Shanghai Bureau of Disease Control and Prevention, the digital record service will also be expanded to include a larger part of the city's population. Students and adults who receive vaccines for pneumonia, flu, and herpes zoster, as well as any recommended shots a person may choose to take before going abroad. And now it's time for the Shanghai Eye Q&A. Today's question is from Mike in the United States. Do I need to pay individual income tax after receiving one-time compensation for the termination of a labor contract? Well, Mike, every year, each city sets an average income amount. If you made less than 3 times the average income of where you live, you don't have to pay individual income tax. But you are required to pay tax on any income exceeding the 3 times the average number. So depending on the amount in your compensation payment, and if you find other employment and generate more income, you may or may not be required to pay income tax. If you've got a question for us, you can find us on all the socials.
We'd love to hear from you. You can find all our content online as well and join us here on Dragon TV, Monday to Friday.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.